The link arrived at 2:17 in the morning, when silence feels heavier than noise and every notification sounds like it carries a secret. Aarav had been staring at the ceiling for hours, counting the cracks, as if they were constellations mapping out a life he no longer recognized. Sleep had abandoned him months ago, the same night everything else fell apart. His phone vibrated once, softly, almost politely. A message from an unknown number. No name, no picture, just a link. He almost ignored it. In another version of his life he would have. But something about that hour, something about the quiet desperation in his chest, made him tap it. The video opened slowly, buffering like it wasn't sure it wanted to reveal itself. The thumbnail was dark, grainy. It looked like a street he might have known, but memory plays tricks when you're lonely. When it finally began, Aarav leaned forward without realizing. It was a recording of a small roadside cafe. Old wooden chairs, a flickering yellow light. The kind of place where time moves slower. His breath caught in his throat. He knew this place. He hadn't been there in years, not since she left. The camera was shaky, as if someone was holding it secretly. There was no sound at first, just the soft hum of night. Then the audio faded in, and with it came the echo of laughter. Familiar laughter. His heart slammed against his ribs. On the screen, a girl sat alone at one of the tables, her fingers tracing circles on the surface. Her hair fell the same way, slightly messy, slightly stubborn, just like she used to complain about. Meera. Aarav's hands trembled. He paused the video, his thumb hovering over the screen. It couldn't be recent. It had to be old footage. Maybe someone uploaded it randomly. Maybe it was coincidence. But deep inside, he already knew it wasn't. He pressed play again. The camera zoomed in slightly, focusing on her face. She looked older, of course, but not in the way time usually changes people. It was something deeper, something in her eyes, a quiet sadness that mirrored his own. She glanced at her watch and sighed, a small, almost invisible movement. Then she spoke. "I knew you wouldn't come." Her voice hit him like a wave, dragging him back to a version of himself he had buried. He leaned closer, as if distance could be undone by effort. "I told myself I wouldn't wait," she continued, forcing a weak smile. "But you know me. I always wait." Aarav's chest tightened. His mind raced, trying to piece together what he was seeing. Was this a recording meant for him? But how? Who sent it? Meera looked directly into the camera now, and for a second it felt like she was looking at him. "If you're watching this, it means I finally gathered the courage to send it," she said softly. "Or maybe someone else did. I don't know. Life has a strange way of delivering things when we least expect them." Aarav swallowed hard. His throat felt dry, like words had abandoned him too. "I came here today because this is where everything started," she said. "And where it ended." The words sliced through him. Memories rushed back, vivid and merciless. That same cafe, the same table, the same yellow light flickering above them. He remembered the way she used to laugh at his terrible jokes, the way she would steal sips from his cup, even when she had her own. He remembered the night he told her he couldn't stay. "I thought leaving would fix things," Meera said, her voice breaking slightly. "I thought giving you space was the right thing, but I didn't realize I was also leaving behind the only place I ever felt at home." Aarav closed his eyes for a moment, but her voice pulled him back. "I waited for you to come after me," she whispered. "Just once, just to tell me I was wrong." His heart ached with a pain he thought he had already survived. He hadn't gone after her. Back then, pride had felt stronger than love. Fear had disguised itself as logic. He told himself it was better this way, that some endings were necessary. But watching her now, he saw the truth he had been avoiding. He had let her go without a fight. "I'm not angry anymore," Meera said, wiping a tear that slipped down her cheek. "I think I was for a long time. But anger gets tired, it fades. What stays is the quiet question of what could have been." The video paused for a second, as if the world itself needed a moment to breathe. Aarav's vision blurred. He didn't realize he was crying until a tear fell onto his hand. "I'm getting married next month," she said, her voice steadier now. "He's a good man, kind, patient. He deserves someone who isn't still looking back." Aarav felt something inside him crack. I wanted to come here one last time, she continued, to say goodbye properly, not just to you, but to the version of myself that believed love was enough. The words echoed in his mind, each one heavier than the last. I hope you're happy, she said softly. I really do. And if you ever think about me, I hope it's with a smile. She paused, looking around the cafe as if memorizing every detail. Take care of yourself, Aarav. The screen went black. For a long moment he didn't move. The silence in the room felt suffocating, like the walls were closing in. Then his phone buzzed again. A new message from the same unknown number. Too late. Aarav stared at the words, his mind racing. Too late. The question lingered, heavy and unresolved. He looked at the time. 2:34 a.m.? His heart pounded as he stood up abruptly, grabbing his keys without thinking. His body moved before his mind could catch up, driven by something raw and undeniable. Regret. The streets were empty as he drove, the city wrapped in a quiet that felt almost sacred. Every red light felt like a challenge, every second like a test of his courage. He didn't know if she would be there. He didn't know if this was a memory, a recording from days ago, or something sent just moments after it was filmed. But for the first time in years, he wasn't willing to accept not knowing. When he finally reached the cafe, his hands were shaking. The yellow light still flickered above the entrance, just like in the video. His breath caught. The door was slightly open. He stepped inside slowly, his heart hammering against his chest. And there she was. Meera sat at the same table, her fingers tracing the same absent circles. She looked up as he entered, her eyes widening in disbelief. For a moment neither of them spoke. Time seemed to pause, holding its breath. Aarav? She whispered, as if saying his name might break the illusion. He nodded, his voice failing him. You came, she said, her eyes searching his face. I should have come a long time ago, he managed to say, his words heavy with everything he couldn't undo. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't look away. I thought it was too late, she said. So did I, he replied, but I couldn't stay away anymore. The silence between them was no longer empty. It was full of everything they had never said. I saw your video, he said quietly. She looked down, her lips trembling. I wasn't sure if you would, she admitted. I almost didn't send it. Why did you, he asked. She hesitated, then met his eyes. Because a part of me needed to know, she said. If there was still something left. Aarav took a step closer, his heart racing. There is, he said, his voice steady despite the storm inside him. There always was. A tear slipped down her cheek. But I'm getting married, she whispered, the words fragile and heavy. I know, he said, and I'm not here to take anything away from you. I couldn't let this end without telling you the truth. She held her breath, waiting. I never stopped loving you, he said. The words hung in the air, simple and undeniable. Meera closed her eyes, as if letting them sink into her soul. Why didn't you say it before? She asked, her voice breaking. I was afraid, he admitted. Afraid of losing you, so I ended up losing you anyway. She let out a soft, bitter laugh. That sounds like you, she said. They both smiled faintly, the familiarity both comforting and painful. What happens now? She asked. Aarav looked at her, really looked at her, as if trying to memorize every detail. That's up to you, he said. I don't want to be another regret in your life. She studied him for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Then she reached across the table, her fingers brushing against his. The touch was electric, filled with years of longing and unanswered questions. I don't know what the right choice is, she said, but I know how I feel. Aarav's heart skipped a beat. And how is that? He asked softly. She squeezed his hand gently. Like maybe it's not too late, she said. The flickering light above them steadied for a moment, as if even it had decided to hold on. Outside, the first hint of dawn began to creep into the sky, painting the world in soft shades of possibility. And for the first time in a long time, Aarav felt something he thought he had lost forever. Hope.